experienced when the marathon bombing occurred. And a lot of my comments will reflect my role, the role of my office, the challenges that we faced in response to the marathon, some of the role leading up to the marathon. But I do want to get it out right now that it's a JTTF investigation. I will not be discussing any of the investigative strategies or proceeds, nor will I get into any particular tactics or SWAT tactics that might have been utilized that day, because those are not my area of expertise. Those were not within my responsibilities, and they are ongoing matters right now. So I just wanted to put that out there for a little bit of housekeeping and ask you to bear with me with respect to questions on those avenues. If I have to decline to answer, please understand why that is. So before going further, there are people in this room who were working that day. As was mentioned earlier, I was working. I was in the brick. It's the Boston Marathon. We're all working. We know it's coming. Unlike Hurricane Sandy, it's been 117 years happened. We know it's happened. It runs through a variety of communities. We plan for it. We communicate. We coordinate it. We had 1,000+ Boston police officers working that day. It was a state holiday. We had partners working with us all over the place. Some of them are in this room. Some of them ended up hands-on with victims and were there, boots on the ground right where it was occurring. So they're in this room. There are some that were involved in maybe the follow-up investigative efforts. There are some in this room that were involved in the SWAT tactics and the clearing and the firefights that were involved subsequent to the event. So I'm not going to ask them to identify themselves unless they feel as though they want to. You're welcome to raise your hand if you'd like, but they're here, and I just wanted to make sure that people in the audience knew that as well. So again, the marathon for us, the tragic events this year for Boston's marathon reinforces for all of us the idea that this is real. We were attacked. It's real. It was an international event, and the partnerships that we developed previously leading up to this were what we put into play and relied upon during the response, and any success that came of this tragedy was a direct result of the partnerships and the ability to work together and communicate effectively. That's what really made this thing happen for us. So that's kind of the theme that I'd like you to keep in mind. There's some facts. The next few slides are just facts to give you an idea of what we're looking at. It's not new. As I say, it's 117 years we've had a marathon running through. About 30,000 runners or so, roughly, that we expected. About 1 million spectators. And it was a perfect day for it. So the marathon travels through 8 communities. There are some jurisdictions that we've spoken with post-Boston marathon bombings that host their marathon, but it runs a loop through their jurisdiction or counties. We have 8 jurisdictions, 8 separate communities, plus the state, that has to deal with coordination of security, traffic mitigation, health and safety of runners and spectators. There are a lot of things. Past years we've had heat elements where we had runners dropping like flies. And it's a legitimate consideration for us for 26 miles. So what happened at the Boston Marathon finish line could easily have happened 26 miles every 12 feet, every 500 feet. It could happen because it's a wide open family event. Spectators are allowed there. It's free admission. There's no screening area, right, for 26 miles. So, as I say, every year we do this, and you can read right along. We coordinate well ahead of time. It's planned. It's well communicated with all levels of government, federal, state, local, as well as private sector and EMS personnel. So, as part of that, annually we do a joint threat assessment, and the analysts in the brick will work with the analysts in emergency medical services. We'll work with federal and state partners from a variety of perspectives. What's known, what should we be concerned about, what particular vulnerabilities might we have. Those in the room who are in this business, this is typical. We're about to go through it, and not about, we're in the process already. We have the World Series coming up. I'm an incredibly big sports fan, but I hate championships. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of dealing with the police aspect of it. I love bragging about them, but I'm tired of it because I have to work every one of them. And I don't get to be a sports fan, I have to work every one of them. And we've had tragedies associated with it. We've had people killed as a result. Now we have the marathon, and we've got people dead because of it. So I'm ready to go read a book. I don't want to be a sports fan. So this is what we discovered, that this is a typical marathon expectation. All the vulnerabilities that we have are what you'd expect for any one of you that has a marathon through your city, that has a major ballpark, that has 35,000 people attending a concert. It's the same thing we all deal with. It's not unusual. What if someone walked in with an IED? What if someone walked in with an Uzi? What if somebody walked in with a dirty bomb? What if some lone offender just walked in there and started stabbing people? It doesn't have to be an international event. It can be crime tragedy. So we look at that. What if everybody started dropping because of heat stroke? You know, these are all the things that are in that joint assessment. We targeted on the finish line as a major area. It was an agreement by everyone. Why? Because there are dignitaries in that area. Why? Because there are elite runners from all over the world that are finishing there. Why? Because if you're looking for attention, the finish line of the Boston Marathon got it, didn't it? It got it. So this is what we worry about, and everything that we worry about and we prepare for, we practice for, happens. It's